Hello, everybody. Okay, we got Xfinity at Michigan up. I look like I'm doing good, don't I? But the problem I've been experiencing at the bigger tracks, as I've mentioned in a few of my other videos, is I'm slow. I know I just took the lead here, but I don't think it lasts. I have some speed, but it's like here, I was watching this before, I handle down the straight fine. So I want to look and confirm my gear ratio, my final drive. And because I looked at my notes, and obviously I have not decided on what's the best setup here. So I got 294, 3, 325, and then in my other series notes, I got 315, 320. So I'm running something between a 294 and a 325. And unfortunately, the setup I'm using here is in career, which I have to wait to come back around to Michigan to do, and I won't be doing that probably anytime soon, because this is on my Steam account, and I've been on my PS4 lately. Most recently running a 12-track single championship in the Cup Series at 2 times wear. Doing well too, better than I thought I would. But as you see here, not doing so well. So here we go, getting freight trained. Bouncing off the wall, lots of fun. The tire wear is not bad, but if you look when I go into the turns, you'll see the right front jump. It jumps, it's, like 30 degrees hotter than the right rear. So that's tight, but you also notice the left rear bumps up. So that says to me that's not just a tight off, I'm tight all around. And not in a good way. Now I'm using sort of a hybrid pressure setup I already saw, you'll see when I pit. And it could be fine, but because I think the problem is the balance is off. See, I've experienced this type of problem at other tracks, and basically it's just too tight. And it's not too tight in a particular spot, it's too tight all around. So yeah, I can get through while I have fresh tires because I'm leaning on, the setup is leaning on the tires. Well, when the tires start to wear and lose grip, it's just completely out to lunch then.
Still there.
And as you see, once they do wear, it makes it really hard to move forward. Makes it really hard to not wreck, because it just wants to slide up the track in the turns. But as you see, look at that, I'm just hauling it down the straight. So I really want to know what this setup is, because usually if you don't get through the turns well and you have a long straightaway, like here, you're not as good down the straight because you're starting out slower out of the turn, and you can only accelerate so much before you hit the next turn. So the faster you get off the turn or drive off, the faster you can potentially hit down the straights. So, what's interesting, I was working on my Cup setup the other day for here, and I got it good in the turns, but I can't get it down the straights. Now, Cup gearing is different because the engine is different, and you can't always use the same thing. Oh, thanks for almost wrecking me. See, that's Jeff. Thanks, Jeff. That's 3 wide. Here, listen. I think he's
3 wide now.
Yeah, he told me I was 3 wide. There. Hold me a good wheel, I guess, is code for you're in the middle. Yeah. Don't even get me started on the spotters. That's why I try to clear myself. I do remember initially, and this is something, I'm just throwing out there. the left side mirror. I do remember when I initially set up on Steam that there was an adjustment for it. And for the life of me, I can't find that again. And I actually had to set up the game again because of an update. And it just, I don't know. I can't find it. And then when I got my PS4 and installed it on PS4, there was no, you know, that wasn't part of the setup, it didn't seem. So I'm a little confused about that. Because definitely could make better use of that if I could adjust it. Same thing with the other mirror objects closer than they appear. So anyway, I was talking about cup setup and Xfinity. So, you know, here, look at this, you know, just flying through the field. That's terrific. Get to the turn, and, you know, I'm back in the pack, so I'm keeping up. Got fresh tires. Yep. Tire pressures aren't up, so I'm sliding. I got all the tape in it because it is tight and sliding. And that also helps you down the straights, which is terrific. See, all this is on, it's just the tires, you know, because on a longer than like 5-8 lap run, I'm just out to lunch. So it's draft and tires. Yep, see, I thought it wouldn't turn because I didn't expect the tire pressure to come up so quick. So you see the tire pressure right front came up, you know, real quick. So I was able to, so I cut it too close and almost spun myself out by hitting the grass. So my whole goal in this race, because I got some wins in, I did very well in this season, is try to figure out what I need in the setup for the next race, and, you know, help my truck setup maybe and my eventual cup setup, you know, just trying to figure Michigan out in NASCAR Heat 4. And so my goal really is that top 10. I just want a top 10, you know, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to get it. You know, because I'm hanging around the top 15. Yeah, I took the lead, but that's temporary. You know, you gotta keep the lead. You can't just, you know, run up there and, you know, make yourself 5 wide. It doesn't usually work for very long. You know, a couple laps, yeah, but not 10, 20 laps. You know, you need a good setup, you know, or a decent setup at least compared to the other cars. So I do the tire wear strategy. You know, pitting whenever I can, but I'm also trying to adjust. Now, at this point, I think I've pretty much maxed out because I haven't noticed that it's just getting tight, you know, like all around. See, my left front is 220 and my left rear is 188 or 190. I record the videos so I can see, because by this time in a race near the end, I've adjusted it enough to get it like as good as I can get it during the race. So I look at what I did, I look at the tire temps and the pressures, which I've already written down, the wedge, etc., etc. And I'm watching what I'm doing here, because you can't always watch yourself and drive. You know, you can observe certain things, but like here, what am I looking at? I'm looking at, I got a guy inside, I got a guy outside, and I don't want to wreck them or me. So I'm not looking at tire temps at this point and going into the turn. No, you know, it's up there, but I'm not looking at it.
All clear.
See, now I'll be looking at it because, you know, I got some room. Well, now. And I'm not seeing that super high left front, as I've seen that at other tracks and I've adjusted for it to success. So I got a better idea of what I'm going to do now.
Careful, still there.
See, look, I'm like stalled out, top 15. So I got a top 15 car. No matter how fast it starts out, that's top 15 car. Yep. I got fresher tires then, but only a few laps. But Michigan is a fast and big track, so you kind of put a little bit more wear on the tires. So fresher tires, even in a small number of laps difference, can really help you. So this just shows, how screwed up my setup is. I think if I remember this race, I think I spun a couple of times off the turns, or trying to run middle like I did there. Oh, caution. Yep, need more cautions because I'm not in the top 10. And as we get closer to the end, the more fresher tires I can see. Nobody's pitting, so I'm going to have even faster tires, or I'm going to be even faster now. See, I put the wedge up, but it's not the wedge. I really need to loosen it up, but not with wedge. I need a spring change on the rear. I would bump up the rear springs in practice by 1 or 2 on each side and see how that works. And I'd be watching the balance front to rear and just inching it up that way, adding 10 pounds on either side. And see how it reacts, Who knows, I might only need the right side, because right rear affects left front, left rear affects right front, and vice versa, etc. There's a chassis thing, yeah, it's front to back, left to right, but it's also the diagonal. And in racing setup, the diagonal tends to be a big deal. Think of it like an X on top of your car with the four corners, and you kind of like, you wanna sometimes twist it to get the balance of all 4 corners a certain way, and they usually are reflected in the tire temps, the middle tire temps. But sometimes the inner tire temps, it's a little complicated. But definitely on the tire wear. So here, I'm wearing the right rear more than I'm wearing the other 3 corners. And that's causing me a problem, but it's not really loose. It's tight. So it's probably that thing where it's so tight that it's loose. And it gets worse as I get towards the end of the turn, which is where a super tight car will get loose. It'll go over the limit, and it'll just want to shoot left. So yeah, I use a fairly light sway bar settings, which help make it looser, but also help it be a little bit more forgiving, but you gotta be really smooth. I run very tight steering because I don't tend to oversteer it, which all helps. And look at this. There's my top 10. It's got to be able to maintain. So basically what I want to do is get up in here and get between some cars. If I can pass people, great, but just maintain and not fall back. But then we get a caution. I got 4 laps to go. What the hell am I going to do with 4 laps to go? Can't get tires, because I'll be starting back in 30th. It's not everybody's on the lead lap, so I just gotta go for it, hope for the best. Hopefully maintain or go forward. So I've got good gearing on the restarts. So this is like, oh, okay, go for it. We're up in the top 5. Go for it. Wait a second. Wait. Look at that. Made a hole. They have really old tires, so I'm looking, yeah, almost spun out. There's that almost spin out to tightness. And I'm just like, okay, let's just go for it. Drive it like you stole it. You might be able to steal this win in a top 15 car. You got to get lucky, but you also got to know when to take advantage of these things. See, they're coming back on me. I am not getting through the turns, so I gotta play defense here. I'll make sure I'm down on that yellow line. even if I'm slower, so yeah, like 5 miles an hour slower, but I blocked them. So you got to play like you're at Daytona and Talladega here. I got to be down on that white line. Yep, they're all going down, so I got lucky too. Somebody could have passed me on the outside if they went high. Yep, blocked them. I'm like, oh, it's within sight. Is it to be?
Fantastic job.
Yes.
Great win.
Wow. That was just a totally unexpected win in a car that was, to me, out to lunch. 102 speed rating was, to me, a lot better than it actually was. So I started 17th. There, you know, I wasn't doing so well. If I qualify top 15, I tend to suck at qualifying, so that's like not a big deal. But 17th, nah, I was really out to lunch on setup. Yep, oh, nice. Didn't see the jump there. I'll give him a 10 for that jump. So I finished 7th in the first stage. So I got some points. That was the other thing, just like top 10 all around. Try to finish top 10 in the stages. Going for the lead there. He's on fresh tires. I actually have a faster car for a few laps. See, it's like 2 laps later or whatever, and I'm already getting passed. That's not good, but, you know, we'll work on it. You can always work on it. You can always get it better. See, it's just sliding up out of the groove, and it just makes it easier for them to pass me. I'm doing all I can. I'm side drafting. I'm driving it in DC. It's just turning the wheel, and it's sliding up, sliding up, sliding up. I'm amazed I'm staying up front so much. It's probably the draft. It really seems to go, you know, good down the straight. So if I'm in a pack, but I'm falling back, you see, it's like 8 laps later. Now I managed to stay up there. It was probably a caution they didn't show. More than likely, and I got some fresher tires and was able to stay. But I'm like hanging on, you know, by the skin of my teeth. Yeah, there's that gearing. Love the gearing. See, my theory here is, even though I don't have the best car, you know, I do have a fast car for a little bit of the time. So just trying to take as much advantage of it to stay as close or up front as possible, hoping that limited advantage in speed for a few laps will get me further up in the field in a finishing way. Top 10 is, you know, there we go, 2 laps. Oh, it's a little long race, I think. Earlier, I think. I forget how many laps the Xfinity races. Yep, you passed me already. Next lap. Been good to watch, I guess. You know, side by side for the lead, and I edge him out. Well, back again. So that's like 3 laps in a row, trading first and second. Definitely looked better than it felt. Yep, there it goes. Oh, that's when I bounced off the wall. That was the beginning of the clip there. Caution. Morgan Shepherd getting abused. And I think this is the last restart. Is it? Yeah, that's a net, right? Yeah. It was overtime. So this is like 120 laps. And boom! We get the win. So here's a perfect example of having a crappy setup, but sort of a fast car, and being able to get lucky and take advantage of the little advantage you have. You know, so, a win is always a nice. That's a nice jump. A win is a win is a win. I actually got the fastest lap. Well, it was so good down the straight, but it just gave up too much in the turns, particularly turns 3 and 4. If you notice. Damn. This is a good race. I don't like winning like that. I'd rather have a better car overall, but I was able to pull it out. So that's the ones that you work for. Yeah, I know. I don't know why it takes so long. They fixed it. It was taking a lot longer than that. I think I have an idea. Something to do with the cache. I think that same problem on NASCAR 13, 14, 15 with longer races. They kind of fixed it, but they didn't fix it all the way. Oh, I only had 195 car. I didn't realize that. So no wonder I was a little bit behind the 8-ball in handling. Because that'll contribute. It means your setup won't last. From what I have experienced, is your setup doesn't last as long without 100 suspension, which, you know, not usually that big of a deal if you got a good setup. But if you don't have a good setup, then, you know, it shows up more. Yeah, well, thank you all for coming along. Here's my settings, and you all keep rolling.